Hi, I'm the Dark Magi, and today I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about how to do tarot. Let's start this off right to show you a quick little tarot reading. It does look like there's some support and love coming your way from someone you weren't expecting. This person will have your back when things get messy and be very supportive of you. It does seem that there's a lot of blessings coming to your life in ways you couldn't be prepared for. These blessings will change your world for the better and bring you many, many improvements. It does seem that there's a lot of growth coming here. The universe is working in your favor to bring you the success, peace, and joy you want. The hard work you put into your life is paying off, and there's a lot of growth and a lot of recovery coming here. So, I bet you're wondering, how exactly did I get that from these three cards? So, in a tarot deck, each card has a different style. They have a different number on them. They have a different card image. These cards all mean something through divination. So I want to take you through it today. We're going to go through a bunch of different tarot decks and kind of learn the basics of how to do a tarot spread. As you see here, we have the Queen of Cups. Cups represent one thing. We got the Seven of Swords, which represents something different. And we got the Ten of Coins, which is something altogether new. So let's go through the tarot deck nice and slowly and start learning about the basics. So first, let's start off by picking a deck. Honestly, you will probably need some form of a tarot deck to start doing your tarot journey. It just happens like that sometimes. You don't have to go out and buy an expensive deck. Also, I know some people even will use regular playing cards. I don't personally do that, but there are definitely tutorials out there about how to use that, how to use playing cards just for divination. So let's just go through some of my decks. So this is the one I always use for when I do lives and things like that. This is a very affordable deck. I actually got it from Five Below. This is a $5 deck, and it's changed my life entirely. It is such a great deck and very useful. So you can find decks that are very affordable. Right now, though, there's not a lot of descriptions on these cards, so I'm not going to use that for this first tutorial. So we're going to go through a bunch, but that's my main one I use. My more expensive decks, which I did get at Barnes & Noble's, this deck I think cost a little bit more. I want to say it was kind of like $20 to $30, somewhere along those lines. So it's a little bit more. The artwork is very nice, very well-made cards. I do love these, but like I said, they're not necessarily going to be the best for teaching you right off the bat. You can use cards like this for learning, but I would definitely say there are some better decks for your starter decks. I will say be very cautious, no tea, no shade to other decks. There are some decks that are a little bit more affordable that have different artwork that I don't think is very helpful as far as learning. So as you can see in this one, the Six of Swords is a generic kind of six swords. And if you look through some of the other cards, we start seeing a lot of things where they don't have different artwork for the individual, like the Seven of Pentacles just has seven pentacles on it, which can be very hard to learn because each card does have a different description. As you see, the Nine of Swords here is very similar to the Seven of Swords card, and so it's a little hard to learn. So I'd be very cautious while getting affordable decks, and sometimes they don't have different artworks for the different smaller arcana. So I'd be very cautious moving forward. I would say this is the deck I started with, and this is my favorite to teach people with. These ones are really cool. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing, but I love it. This is my favorite deck, and I will always keep it because it is just the best deck and how I learned. But this deck essentially has your artwork, the name, and then underneath it has a description of the cards. So that way you don't have to keep consulting books back and forth. A lot of other decks, such as this one, does come with a book, but you do have to consult it back and forth, which can make it a little bit nerve-wracking to start off tarot with and be a little bit make you kind of worried about what's going on. So as far as what I would say is this deck right here is, again, one of my favorite decks in the world, and it's because each one has a different description of the card, so it's very helpful to learn it right off the bat. That way you don't have to go bouncing back and forth, and you can be very much in the flow of it, because that's also a big part of divination, is you have to really be in the flow and trusting the process and enjoying it for what it is, which can be very hard to do if you're bouncing back and forth between a book and whatnot. So if you're able to find a deck that does have descriptions like this, that'd be very helpful. This is one of my favorite ones. This is called The Secret of the Tarot. I got this I think at Barnes & Noble's with like a starter deck, a starter booklet or something like that. I know some people have said they found it at Five Below. I have not personally seen this exact deck at Five Below, but I have heard people say that they do find it there. So that is what deck I will be using for this, for most of this video. So there are two different types of cards in the tarot deck. I might mispronounce this. I probably will. Other people are going to tell you how to say stuff different ways. I apologize ahead of time. So we have the Major Arcana. That's why I say it. It might be Arcana. I always say Arcana. I don't know. Anyway, this is the Major Arcana would be like the face cards. And then we have the Minor Arcana, which is like the Ten of Cups and things like that. These are drastically different, both of which are very important to the deck. A lot of people do focus mainly on the Major Arcana. People are more excited to see these cards because they're more recognizable. But the Minor Arcana is where we get a lot more detail about your personal life. So now let's go through some of these cards and kind of explain what they are. So here are three cards from the Major Arcana. We have the High Priestess, the Empress, and we have Death. So these cards are the face cards. A lot of the times what people will call like the face cards, something like that. These are, again, what people kind of recognize the most. So like if you have if you get like a pendant from a tarot deck, or you get some earrings from a tarot deck, it's probably going to be one of these cards that's going to be described. These are cards that also a lot of people do kind of relate to. Like you can be like, oh, I relate heavily to the High Priestess. I relate to the Empress, stuff like that. These are cards that kind of are overall sweeping concepts. This is very much one of those things where like the High Priestess is a sign of a lot of power, a lot of manifestation, a lot of breakthroughs. When the Empress on the other hand can be kind of a sign of there are delays coming up that will slow things down. Death is a sign of a new cycle, things like that. This is not necessarily about your everyday life. This is about the overall sweeping things that are about to happen. This is very much one of those things where like these are events, these are changes, these are big deals, versus the minor arcana, which is a little more of the details of everyday life, like the small things that are happening around you. So I would definitely, when you do start doing tarot, keep an eye out for these cards in particular, because these are kind of the ones that, first of all, when you're doing readings for other people, you'll definitely have them asking about. And these are going to be just the cards that are kind of just a little bit more of the meat and bones of what's going on. This can give you very much a plot point of the reading, and then you can go from there. Here are 4 different cards from the minor arcana. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, the 7 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, and the 3 of Cups. These are cards that would be more descriptive of smaller things happening in your life. Like the Knight of Pentacles is kind of a reference that you will be learning some lessons around money and kind of starting to make some changes in your finances from your own personal knowledge. This is kind of a sign of learning a lesson to improve something. Versus the 7 of Swords, which is a kind of a sign of you're getting more blessings in. They might be a hard uphill battle, but you will start bringing blessings in, really help make your plans and your hopes a reality. We have the 5 of Wands, which is a sign of there might be some arguments or fights ahead of you, but you're fully equipped to handle them. And then the 3 of Cups are kind of a sign of a celebration or a breakthrough, something like that. These are small things where it's like there's a party coming up this week. There's some money coming into your life that you weren't expecting, like you're finding some money on the side of the road. You are going to have a little bit of an argument with a partner or a loved one. These are like smaller things that do make up your life, that fill in the gaps. A lot of people just want the giant golf ball size things, but sometimes these are almost like the sand that falls into the jar as well. That way it can really make your life a full kind of concept and really get a full reading from these type of cards. There are 4 different suits in the minor arcana, each of which has a very specific kind of vibe for their whole line of cards. This is one of those things where it's almost like if you did want to start doing tarot with a playing deck, this would almost be what you were looking at. This would almost be like the ace, the clubs, the spades, the hearts, things like that. That's kind of what you will look for in these, in like the minor arcana, is that you are going to be having these different suits. So we have like the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups. So you will be looking for Cups, Wands, Pentacles, and Swords. The suit of cards are very much always kind of seen as kind of a little more of the aggressor. It's like a double-edged sword. There might be some frustration coming up. There might be some sort of fight coming up. The Ace of Swords itself is a sign of overcoming certain frustrations and having to fight through some of your battles. We get the 5 of Swords where you've almost lost a battle and you've had some losses, but you still have to get back up and do it anyway. And then we have like the King of Swords, which is somebody who is still demands respect even when they lose. These are the kind of people that you see that won't necessarily accept loss. They have to always hold out for that victory. A lot of times when it comes to swords, they're actually a sign of warriors fighting and things like that. Also, they can always be discerned in different ways, but it's kind of a sign of like never giving up or having something like having like a sword to your throat type of deal. And then we have the wands. So the wands are a little bit more of surprises, spiritual blessings, spiritual in like knowledge coming in, intuition being used, spiritual things that are actually going to help you on your journey, helping you also with your actual magic and things like that. So like the Ace of Wands is a bit of a new spiritual beginning. You're going through a bit of a rebirth, a recreation, becoming the person you're meant to be spiritually and changing your life. The 7 of Wands is, despite some of the frustrations, you will get through this and come out on top of it because of your spiritual knowledge. You're being divinely guided. Even though things might be hard around you, you're going to start seeing those breakthroughs. And then we got the 9 of Wands is you're feeling a bit distracted. You're feeling a bit distraught. So you need to take yourself out of your situation and get a more of a God's eye view of something, and not necessarily getting the view that's on the ground as much as taking yourself back and looking around to get a better view of what's going on, because you are kind of playing a big spiritual game essentially. By taking yourself out of it, you will see lots of blessings and lots of understanding. Then we have the suit of cups. Cups are also a lot of the times very much about self-security, learning about yourself, kind of overcoming insecurities, things like that, and celebration. The cups are very much a sign of your cup will start to overflow, both in your self-esteem and in the journey you're on in general. The Ace of Cups is very much a hand up is coming your way to help you out of your circumstances, not giving you everything, but helping you out of your circumstances so your cup can overflow. Like the 3 of Cups is a sign of celebrations, bright, happy new beginnings, new breakthroughs, new blessings, and new opportunities for happiness and overall lots and lots of joy. Then we get to like the 10 of Cups, something like that, which is a sign of celebrating your friends, your family, your loved ones, and really being happy and content in yourself. So very much the 9 of Cups is a sign of overcoming certain self-esteem problems, overcoming certain issues with people around you to have the happiness and blessings that you deserve, to open your eyes to new things and new opportunities. The last suit we're going to be talking right now is the Ace of Pentacles, the Pentacles in general. So Pentacles can be represented 2 different ways. Sometimes they're called pentacles or coins. So you might see a pentagram or a coin in the artwork. So this one's actually one of the more useful ones in tarot reading because it's very straightforward. It's about money. Pentacles is a sign of coins. coins and representation of money. So like the Ace of Pentacles is a new start, things are happening. You're getting the Ace is a sign of brand new beginnings, and that's a beginning with money. You can start putting the math together of this card is the first of that Arcana, and it's about coins, so it's a fresh start in money. We get the Four of Pentacles, which is a sign of improvements coming. You're going to start skating by in life because money's getting easier. As you can see in the actual artwork, somebody has a little money on their feet, and they're able to kind of move forward in the money. And then lastly, over here, we have Ten of Pentacles, which is a sign of building a better life, finding more contentment. There's more money in your life, so you can start helping others and moving forward both in your life and helping other people on their personal journeys as well. Each suit also has a king and queen of their suit. This would be like if you were playing with regular playing cards, you'd be like the Queen of Hearts, King of Hearts, things like that. So we do have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, which are normally representations of older people. These are people who are like over the age of 25. These are like people who are kind of just more on the adult side, and they are heading towards that. Since we do know about the sword cards, a little bit more of the aggressors and things like that, people who are a little more aggressive, this might be a sign of an older person who is a little bit hard to talk to, who's not very emotional, who's not very fun, who doesn't always give you a big hug at the end of the day. They're a little bit more on the stern side, things like that. They're kind of demanding a little bit more of the authoritarian side. These can be all these cards in general, the King and Queens, can really be descriptive to help you understand certain people. So like if you have a question like, oh, is this person who's coming into my life to help me out? An older person who might be a little bit cold and distant, that could be the King and Queen of Swords. Then we head over to the Pentacles, which is a sign, like we said earlier, about money. So these are people who are good with money. These are people who are good with business. We got older people over 25 who might be a little bit more helpful to you in starting a business, things like that. They might be willing to give you a loan or something like that, or at least help you make that money. Then we go down here to the King and Queen of Wands, which we said earlier, wands are the ones that represent your spiritual life and things like that. So this could be like a really good spiritual mentor. Again, older people who might be more helpful towards spiritual, helping you grow and evolve and level up when it comes to your spirituality. They're not going to necessarily hold your hand the whole time, but they will be helpful to you in that journey. And last but not least, we have the King and Queen of Cups. As we referenced earlier, cups are very much a sign of building up your debt, like building up your self-esteem, helping you overcome certain adversity. So these are going to be like the older people. These are giving off like the grandparents who are going to love you through certain things, the mom and dad who are going to hold your hand and help you feel better about yourself. So we have 4 different types of people that we're going to see. We have the King and Queens, well, I guess technically 8 in these 4 different suits. So these are very helpful cards to understand, especially when it comes to like an older entity or something like that. These are cards you probably see most likely popping up. The same can be said about the page cards. The page cards can almost reference like the Jack of Spades, the Jack of Hearts, something like that in a regular playing deck. So the page cards are a sign of somebody younger. We can take the same kind of information we had about the King and Queen of Cups, Swords, Wands, and coins and kind of look at that as a younger person. These are people who are under 25. These are a little bit more on the under, like a little bit less mature. These are younger people. So again, if you have questions about maybe somebody who's a little bit on the younger side, you would look towards a Page of Swords. Like if you're in school or something and you have a question about like a friend that is about your age or something like that, this would be the cards you'd be looking at. So like we have the Page of Swords, which is more of that teenage gossip. That person who's going to talk behind your back, not because it actually matters or they have a problem with you, but they could like to talk because they're a gossip. They're not necessarily the kind of person you want to have around them because it's a very immature level of aggression. It's not actively trying to hurt you or get you, but it's definitely not making you feel good. This is like backstabbing type of card. Then we have the Page of Pentacles, which is somebody who needs to learn some lessons when it comes to money. This could be a card that you might pull for yourself if you're kind of new at something, like a new job or something like that. This is a lesson that needs to be learned that will teach you a lot about yourself, but also one of those things where you do need to learn some lessons. We then see the Page of Wands, which is a sign of a very early part of your spiritual journey where you're still kind of learning things. This is giving the vibe of you're not fully new, you're not the full fool card, but you are kind of a novice at certain things. You're learning certain things and growing, but you haven't necessarily got there yet. And then we got the Page of Cups, which is a sign of really starting to get that. Since we know the Cups is about building your self-esteem, about building yourself, about building up the world around you. This is a sign of good news coming into your life. You're having that positive part of your brain that isn't hurt yet by the world around you. So you're able to use the naivete and use that in a positive light to let your cup overflow and let your cup grow. We then can look at the Knight cards, which are also a big part of the Minor Arcana. We have the Knight cards, which is a sign of movement. The Knight cards are always a sign of things moving around and being fluid. As you can see, all the cards are on some form of a horse, and it really just is a sign that things are moving. So again, we can do that math. We know swords are about aggression and things kind of having to be fought for. So the Knight cards is kind of a sign of you kind of getting through a situation very fast and beating it. This is one of those signs where the swords are working in your favor and they're moving in your help. This is kind of a sign of you are fighting for a lot of things, but you're getting that big breakthrough because your fight is what's powerful. Then we can look over the Pentacles, again, doing the math. What do Pentacles represent? They represent finances. This is a sign of money coming to you very quickly. Money literally coming through your door. This is a sign of things moving in a very fast light. We then can look down at the Knight of Wands, which we know is about spirituality, your spiritual journey, things like that. Coming through your door, moving fast. So, spiritual changes are happening. There's a charge of spiritual energy happening to you very, very quickly, and improvements coming fast. The Knight of Cups, on the other hand, we know is about confidence building up. So this is a sign of you're fighting for your own confidence and needing to really focus on building yourself up. That's a priority. And the Knight is very much a sign of you fighting for that and finally getting that change in your life to understand what you need and what you want. So now that we have a basic idea and understanding of the tarot deck, even if it's so basic, we can start doing the math to understand what it is. A lot of times when it comes to divination and stuff, it's all about trusting your instincts, but having a basic understanding of what each card kind of represents will help you get there. So let's do this. We'll puzzle it out together as we go through this reading and kind of figure out what each card means. Since we already kind of know certain things in general, we can just kind of piece it together. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. That would represent, aces are the beginning of a deck. We always know aces are the first things. We've talked about this before. Pentacles represent finances. So this is a sign of a start in your finances or a start in the money. Okay, let's get this card. Then we have the Moon. Okay, so the Moon is one of the major arcanas. I'll go through and describe each card individually, but moons, what would that mean to you personally? Moons are changing constantly. The moon is there and then it's gone. It has different phases. So the moon is a card that really does represent a change in fluctuation. So there's a new start coming in money and a fluctuation. We're already kind of knowing that this reading's about finances, or new beginnings, at least, that could be about luck and finances. And so this new start we're seeing over here with the moon would be a sign that a fresh start is coming. Again, just think about what these cards mean to you. Even if you don't know the description, what does a moon mean to you? It means werewolves, which means transformation, which still goes into the exact plot we're looking at. Now, last but not least, we have the 10 of Pentacles we pulled. We've learned before what Pentacles represent. We learned that Pentacles represent, what is it? Yes, finances. And as you can see in the artwork, again, this is why you want a deck that actually has the artwork that's different from each other. You can see a bunch of people hanging around each other with money coming towards them. This is a sign of stability happening. So if we want to go through this whole thing and puzzle it out, a new start is happening in money with a transitional phase and a change that's heading towards money coming down for a big group of people. And it could be a group of people that love each other and are sports. So like your family is getting some money coming in that way. That is a very easy way to describe what this reading means. Now we're going to run through the major arcana. There's a lot of cards to get through, so I'm going to be talking very fast. So bear with me. Let's get it. And again, if you need to rewatch it, just rewind. So the Fool is the very first card in the tarot deck. This is the card that we all start off as. This is very much a sign of innocence and a fresh start. So if you pull this card, this would be a sign that you are about to have a fresh start in something new and kind of get on the right journey. After that is the Magician. The Magician is very much a sign of starting to learn your spiritual gifts. You left being the Fool and now you're learning more about your spirituality. This is a sign you are very much tapping into deeper powers, and surprise blessings are coming with that. The High Priestess is the most powerful card in the tarot deck and all the arcanas. This is a card of manifestation. This is a sign of you're no longer just a magician, you're the highest of the highest. You are getting the best blessings because of who you are. You were spiritually meant for this journey. The Empress is a sign of there might be some delays. The Empress is a card that we start seeing good things are coming, but there's a delay here. That's when you start learning the lessons of patience. Her counterpart would then be the Emperor, which is a sign of once that ends, you will find stability and get the breakthroughs that you want and start really getting a better life that you deserve and that you need. The Hierophant is almost a sign of like God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. This is very much a sign of praying to a higher power, to contacting the universe itself. This is a sign of there's a bigger plan that is bigger than you. The Lovers card is very much one of the most iconic cards that people want to see a lot. People love a love reading. Lovers is very much a sign of destiny, love being found, things finally interconnecting with each other. These are very positive blessings and very much a sign that things are working out in your favor to get you what you need and what you want when it comes to your love life. And if you're not doing a love reading, this is kind of a sign of destiny is working in your favor. The Chariot is a sign of movement. Think of what a chariot looks like. This is going from point A to point B very fast. Things are moving quickly. Even if there are bumps on the road, you can't stop or slow down. This is a sign of always moving forward and never being stuck, never getting stagnant. Keep moving even if things might feel a bit difficult and a bit hard. Strength. You have a lot of inner strength and a lot of understanding of yourself. This is a sign of you can tame the lion within you. You can also be powerful enough to be that lion. This is a sign of balance will bring you strength. Being the lion, being the lamb, being both of them will incredibly bring you power towards growth and recovery. Hermit is a sign that sometimes you need alone time. The Hermit is a sign of what do you think of when you think of a hermit? Being alone and being kind of secluded. It's not a negative aloneness. It's a good aloneness of kind of having some time to focus on you and getting some time for a quiet time for you and yourself so you can understand what the universe is sharing with you. The Wheel of Fortune is a sign of a wheel turning. Think about what a wheel looks like and how that happens. When you start seeing a wheel turning, the top is not always on the top, things move to the bottom. Sometimes there has to be a shift to the positive things come your way. This is a sign of that the cycle of life happens to you so that you can get the blessings you need overall. Justice is a sign of balance. This could be a sign of like a legal situation or something like that. So if someone has a question about legal terms, things like that, this card will often pop up because it's a sign of balance being found and justice finally coming through. Karma's going to have your back and things will improve because the right things always come your way. The Hanged Man is a sign of you've been left hung out to dry by other people. People have discounted you. This card is very much a sign at the end of the day when you will be the one who rescues yourself. As you can see, the person is not hung by their neck, they're hung by their foot. It's definitely one of those things where it sometimes feels worse and harsh because you're being hung out to dry, but you can save yourself. You just have to remember you have the power to change your life. Death is a really interesting card. A lot of people get scared when they see this card, but it is not a sign of actual death. This is a sign of new beginnings and a bit of a recycling. This is a sign of the old version of you has come to an end so the new version can live, so there can be blessings to be found every day. Temperance is a sign to start testing out the waters and try out new ideas. As you can see in the artwork, this angel is testing the waters by pouring back and forth. Temperance is a sign of balance will be found once you try out all the ideas and try out new things. I did lose my other card for some reason, so I have to have a different card from this deck. This is a sign. The devil is kind of a sign you can see holding on to two things right here. It's very much a sign if the devil doesn't have power over you, it's only a perceived power. You can break free of those things. This is very much a sign of your destiny is in your hands. This is a counterpart to the Lover's card, actually. This card is very much a sign of you break free of the things that no longer serve you, so you're not being held back any longer. The Tower is a sign of, a lot of people get scared by this card. This is a card that people come up with all the time and go, oh no, it's the Tower. You see people jumping from the tower. There's fire, there's brimstone, whatever. This is not a negative card. None of the cards are negative. It's all how you perceive them. This is a sign that the universe is going to rid you of all the negativity. It's a purging. This is a sign that things are being removed. It might be a bad moment, but it's because there was bad things in your life that had to get rid of. So the universe is cleansing your life for the better. The Star is a sign of hope and bright positivity coming your way. This is also a reminder to constantly share good energy with others and move it forward to keep it moving on the right direction. The Moon is a sign of, we've talked about this before, of changes of phases. New phases starting. The old phase has to come to an end because the old phase wasn't really serving you any longer. It was blocking you from your blessings. The Sun is a sign of positivity, good messages, and good life. If it comes to like a love reading, this could be a sign of a wedding or just feeling warm and content with somebody. This is like a metaphoric summer of happiness and peace. Judgment is a sign that there is going to be a bit of a shift coming here. You need to trust yourself through this shift. Hard times might be ahead of you, but once you trust yourself a little bit more, you will find many blessings and many breakthroughs overall. Last in the major arcana is the World. This is a sign that the world is in the palm of your hands. You started off at the Fool, very new, very innocent. This is a sign that you're ready to take on the world and get what you need out of life and head towards your blessings and your own peace to get the story that you need and open your doors for your own peace and your own blessings. Now I'm going to speed through the minor arcana to give you an idea of what these mean as well. Ace of Wands is a fresh new start when it comes to your spiritual journey. The Two of Wands is a sign that you're going from point A to point B. As you can see, the person is in between two different destinations. This journey is what your life is. Don't try to rush it. Enjoy the ride for what it is. The Three of Wands, as you can see, is someone standing back and taking a look over the world around them. This is a sign of taking yourself out of your certain situations and surveying the world around you of how hard you've worked and how far you've come. The Four of Wands is two people celebrating something. A lot of times this can be a sign of a marriage or something like that, or just building a better life. These are two people celebrating the life they've built together and the world around that they've started building. So this is very much a sign of building something beautiful and being proud of it. The Five of Wands are people fighting. As you can see in the artwork right here, people are fighting with their wands. This is a sign of you might have a spiritual fight coming up, but you are fully able to handle this because of the life you've built before you. The Six of Wands is news of victory. As you can see, this is somebody on a horse getting their victory. They fought many wars, they fought many battles, but this is news of victory and breakthroughs are finally coming with this. The Seven of Wands is a sign of overcoming frustrations. This is a sign of somebody standing their ground and not settling. It might be hard, but spiritually you are going to be very sturdy in your own beliefs. The Eight of Wands is a sign of love or something coming to your life very quickly. As you can see, the wands look like arrows being shot. These are signs of there's something happening fast. A lot of times people look at this as Cupid's arrow. Nine of Wands is a sign of you're feeling a bit undecided. As you can see, this person is taking a step back and not really deciding something. That is because they're not really looking at what's going on around them. This is kind of a sign of not seeing the forest through the trees, something like that. The Ten of Wands is a sign of being weighed down. This person is very much feeling a lot of weight from these 10 wands. They're feeling a lot of stress on their back because of that. The Page of Wands is a sign of going on a bit of a journey towards learning more about yourself spiritually and getting on the right track to what you want and what you deserve. The Knight of Wands are a sign of surprising good spiritual news coming your way or something coming through your door, like we said earlier. The Knights represent coming through your door, and the Wands represent spirituality. The Queen of Wands is very much a sign of a spiritual helper coming your way. Someone's going to have some good insight about your spiritual journey. Listen to them. They will be very helpful to your life and your spiritual destiny. The King of Wands is the same counterpart to that. This is kind of a sign of sturdiness and ambition and not settling for less. Ace of Cups. This is a sign of getting the blessings you finally want. Your cup's not just going to be filled, it's going to overflow. We know that the Cups card represent kind of securities and building yourself up, and the Ace represents a start to that. This is a sign of starting up that journey towards overfilling your cup. The Two of Cups are two people coming together. This can a lot of times be a time of two people discussing something important, or it could be a sign of a marriage. This is very much a sign of finding peaceful coming together to really help build that self up, because you're not just one person anymore, you're building like a pyramid towards the person you want to become. The Three of Cups is a sign of celebration. This artwork is very obviously people celebrating. They have their cups cheering and they are celebrating the world around them. The Four of Cups, as you can see here, is somebody's being offered a cup. They have enough in hand, but they're being offered something else that isn't actually what they want. This is kind of a card of being cautious about accepting less than what you deserve for what you need. The Five of Cups is a sign of you've had some losses. This is an up and down. There's some stuff that's being held back from behind you. You have to let go of in order to move forward. The person has a whole path right here, but they're stuck here looking at the past, looking at the old stuff. Let it go. The Six of Cups is a happier home and people celebrating, building a life together, building better memories, building connections. These are people sharing their love and their wealth with each other. The Seven of Cups, there's a bunch of clouds and a bunch of cups hiding behind said clouds. This is a sign of things are not always as they seem. Spiritually, you need to trust your intuition moving forward. The Eight of Cups is a sign of letting go of the past and turning away from things that are no longer serving you. Like the card we saw earlier, the person being stuck in the cups, this is a sign of walking away from things that don't work for you. As you can see in the artwork, the person is leaving it. The Nine of Cups is a time that there are improvements underway. There are blessings coming. This person is sitting at a banquet enjoying their cups, enjoying their blessings finally. The Ten of Cups is a sign of people celebrating things. They have the rainbow here with all the cups. They are celebrating the life they built and being very proud of it. The Page of Cups is a sign of like we said before, it's a younger person. This is kind of a nuance, kind of learning new things. They're an ingenue. They're learning about themselves in their spiritual journey and growing. The Knight of Cups, like we said before, knights represent coming through your door, and this is a sign of confidence. So confidence is coming through your door. You are learning and leveling yourself up. The Queen of Cups is a woman who might be a little bit insecure, might be a little bit on the rocks about certain things, but at the end of the day, she is going to be loyal to you and very supportive of you. This could be a good friend or a good ally, or it could even be a sign of yourself learning about your own support system. This is her male or her masculine counterpart. This is the same type of thing. It might be a shy person, but at the end of the day, they'll be very loyal and very supportive. The Ace of Swords is a side of a double-edged sword. The beginning of this, it might be a battle, but it might be a battle that you'll win. This is very much that double-sided sword that it might be hollow victories, but there will be breakthroughs as well. The Two of Swords is very much somebody having to come to terms with being themselves. They're having to fight behind certain facades and having to fight for themselves in this. As you can see, this is one person by themselves with two swords to support themselves and defend off evil. The Three of Swords is a sign of letting go of heartbreak, backstabbing, things like that. As you see the heart's being stabbed by three swords, you got to let it go because that is not happening anymore. It is not serving the future. The Four of Swords is somebody being a little under the weather. They're hanging underneath a bunch of swords. So this is one of those things where they've been fighting so hard that they're not taking good care of themselves. The Five of Swords is a sign of losses. As you can see, there's two swords on the ground, but there's still three in hand. This person had five swords and they lost two. They have to remember they still have everything it takes to be successful. The Six of Swords is a sign of heading away from drama, heading away from the hard sailing. As you can see in the artwork, they're heading away from the drama to find peace. The Seven of Swords is a sign of plans and hopes being granted. This person is getting more than they needed to get the blessings that they want. The Eight of Swords is a sign of being frustrated and being held back and having to break free of the oppression of others. This is a sign of you have to take charge of your life to be the hero of your own journey. The Nine of Swords is a time to kind of wake up and overcome the frustrations. You have the power to let go of things and let go of the aggression. This is very much a sign of you weren't lying down under the swords anymore, you're standing up to fight for it. The Ten of Swords is a sign of an end of something. People have been blocking you and holding you back, so it is a sign that they're leaving your life and not necessarily going to be holding you back any longer. The Page of Swords, like we said earlier, is somebody who's a bit of a gossip, a bit of a backbiter, and a bit of a backstabber. You don't need all that. There is a bunch of good news and breakthroughs coming in the near future, and this is a sign that things are moving quickly. The Ten of Swords is very much a sign that there is good news and victories at hand, and it's coming soon. The Queen of Swords is somebody who might be a little bit of aggressive, an older, kind of like a divine feminine energy, who's a little bit on the negative side, who is a little bit of a fighter. The King of Swords is her masculine counterpart, who is a bit of a man who's kind of stuck in his ways, who might be kind of hard to reason with. Then we get to the Ace of Pentacles, which is a sign of fresh starts with money. We have aces, which is the beginning, and pentacles, which represent finances. So this is a sign of fresh beginnings with finances. The Two of Pentacles is a sign of someone juggling. This is a sign of two kind of things being up in the air and not necessarily sticking with one thing. So when it comes to money, there's too much going on that you're not really knowing exactly where you stand. The Three of Pentacles, as you can see here, there are three pentacles over a church chapel. This is kind of a sign of that you're left out in the cold. People haven't always let you in, but you're finally coming in. So when it comes to money, things like that, you're finally getting the blessings you deserve. The Four of Pentacles is a sign of somebody skating through on life with money. As you see, there's money on their feet, so there's blessings coming their way and celebrations to be found. It does look like there are some delays. This is kind of a sign of someone's being delayed when it comes to money. They're not always getting what they need, but it's right there. If they turn around and look around, they'll feel the blessings they need. The Six of Pentacles is a sign of raise of frequency and financial vibrations. Money's coming soon in ways they weren't expecting. This is a sign of balance finally coming in finances. The Six of Pentacles is a sign you might be frustrated, don't settle, and don't give up. The hard work is going to pay off. It does look like this card is also a sign of money coming in. Eight of Pentacles is a sign of someone working towards their money and making the life they've always wanted. The Nine of Pentacles is a sign of peace of mind and contentment in the finances. As you can see, someone is just chilling around money and enjoying it. Ten of Pentacles is a sign of building a better life from the ground up, and more money is coming in it. Pentacles, a page. Page of Pentacles is a sign of learning who you want to be and becoming the person you need to grow to when it comes to money and getting the success you deserve. Pentacles of Knights. Knight of Pentacles is a sign of money coming through your door in a good way. The King and Queen of Pentacles are a sign of somebody helping you out with money and helping you on that journey so you learn what you need and what you want. That was our quick overview of learning tarot. I hope this helped you out on your journey. I hope this helped you figure out what's going on exactly with tarot so you have a basic understanding so you can at least start the basics. Like I said, get a good starter deck. This will help you out tremendously. If you guys would like to see me do the cards in reverse and teach you about that, we can do that as well. Thanks for watching. Blessed be. Make sure you follow and subscribe for more.